Chosen one. Have you ever wondered why the quietest hours of the night often feel the heaviest, yet the most sacred? It is in those hidden hours, when the noise of the world is muted, that something beyond your understanding begins to reach out to you. The night becomes more than darkness. It becomes a bridge, a meeting place between heaven and your restless heart. Many dismiss the stirring thoughts, the sudden dreams, or the unshakable feelings that come when the world sleeps. But what if those moments are not accidents? What if the unease, the clarity, or the strange comfort you feel at night is a sign that God is trying to reach you in ways you cannot ignore? The night is His canvas, and your spirit becomes His page. The whispers you feel, the dreams you barely remember, the sudden urge to stay awake even when you are tired. They all carry messages that belong to you alone. Do not overlook them. Chosen one, before we continue, I must tell you something important. Stay with this video until the end, because hidden throughout are messages that are meant only for you. At the end of this journey, there will be words that carry a unique weight, words that you were meant to hear. And when you reach that point, I ask you to do something powerful. Write your most sincere wishes in the comments along with the number 777. This is more than writing a number. It is setting an intention, sending your energy and desires into the universe. It is an act of faith, of declaring your openness to receive what has been prepared for you. Subscribe and hold this space with us, for together we create a circle of intention where prayers, wishes, and divine energy meet and echo back into our lives. Chosen one, in the stillness of the night, your defenses drop. You no longer wear the mask that carries you through the day. The heart softens, and the soul opens. That is when the messages come. Maybe you feel them as restlessness, lying awake and staring at the ceiling when sleep should have taken you. Maybe you hear them in the sudden recall of old memories, surfacing like waves you thought were buried. Or maybe it comes in the form of a dream that leaves you trembling, a vision too vivid to dismiss. Do not mistake these for random occurrences. They are signals, like divine whispers echoing through the corridors of your subconscious. The night is not just a pause between days. It is the sacred hour when the unseen world leans close to you. And when you listen, when you allow the silence to become your teacher, you realize that the whispers are not just sounds, but directions, guiding you toward the path you are meant to walk. Chosen one, dreams themselves are often the chosen medium. Not every dream is ordinary. Some of them arrive layered with symbols, carrying images that your conscious mind cannot fully decode. Yet your spirit understands. When you wake with a dream burned into your memory, heavy with meaning, it is not to be discarded. Write it down, reflect on it, pray on it, for God speaks in ways that bypass your logic and awaken your inner sight. Have you ever had a dream that lingered for days, refusing to leave your heart? That is not coincidence. It is a divine imprint, an instruction or a reassurance that you are not alone. If you ignore it, you risk missing the very answer you prayed for. Chosen one, there is also the weight of presence in the night. Some nights, you feel watched, not in fear, but in awareness, as if an unseen companion sits beside your bed, waiting for you to acknowledge their nearness. It is in these nights that God reminds you that you are not abandoned. Angels move quietly, bringing peace where fear wants to settle. That heaviness pressing into the room may not be despair, but rather glory, so thick it bends the air around you. You feel it as a warmth, a strange calm that your words cannot explain. That presence is the answer to your doubts, the gentle assurance that heaven has heard you, and it has come closer. Chosen one, there are signs that come with the night that are not easily explained. The sudden wake up at 3 a.m., the stirring in your chest, the goosebumps that rise when no sound breaks the silence. These are reminders that the night is alive with messages. While the world thinks it is coincidence, you know better. You sense that there is meaning in the very hour you rise. You begin to wonder, why am I awake? Why do I feel drawn to pray, to think, to just sit in the darkness? Because the night is when the veil is thinnest, when the spiritual realm draws near. Your spirit feels it even when your mind cannot explain it. Do not brush it away. Lean into it. Because if God is trying to reach you in the night, then He has something urgent, something deeply personal to deliver to your soul. Chosen one. When the night deepens and the world is hushed into silence, there are currents of unseen energy moving through your space, weaving patterns your heart can feel even if your mind cannot fully grasp them. These are not accidents. They are purposeful nudges meant to awaken your spirit. Think about the times you have lain awake, staring into the darkness, while thoughts pressed into you with urgency. You may have dismissed them as random noise of the mind, but what if they were not? What if each pressing thought was a spark of divine dialogue, waiting for you to notice? The silence of night is not empty. It is saturated with messages you were destined to receive, if only you choose to lean in and listen. At night, your awareness shifts. You are no longer tangled in the noise of conversations, the chaos of duties, or the weight of expectations. Instead, you are raw, unfiltered, and exposed in the quiet. This is why so many hear whispers, feel unusual sensations, or suddenly gain clarity when the world is asleep. God chooses this moment because it is when you are most open, when your inner walls have crumbled, and when your soul is finally free to listen without resistance. If you ignore this invitation, you may wake with heaviness, carrying unspoken truths that were meant to be acknowledged. The night is a sacred appointment, a time where the eternal leans into your mortal frame and invites you into a deeper conversation. The signs are often subtle, and yet they strike with an unforgettable weight. You might be startled awake in the same hour of the night again and again, your body restless though your room is still. You may dismiss it, telling yourself it is chance or bad sleep, but your spirit knows better. That hour is not random. It is precise, intentional, and chosen. It is as if heaven itself is shaking you gently, asking, "Are you ready to hear me?" And when you rise, when you open your heart even for a moment, you may notice patterns in your thoughts that were invisible by day. Directions begin to form, and suddenly you see answers to questions you thought had none. Dreams also carry within them a language too vast for daylight. Symbols, images, and echoes weave themselves through your mind, and while your waking self may find them strange, your soul knows their weight. Some dreams return, repeating with slight variations, as if heaven is emphasizing their importance until you finally understand. These dreams are not entertainment for your subconscious. They are revelations, planted seeds meant to guide your steps. Writing them down, sitting with them, asking for clarity. These are acts of respect to the divine dialogue offered to you. Each detail can hold meaning. The place you stood, the people who appeared, even the colors or objects you touched. Every fragment is part of the coded message given in the night. Sometimes it is not dreams at all, but a heavy presence that fills the room. So tangible you cannot deny it. The air thickens, the silence hums, and your skin prickles with awareness. You know without proof that you are not alone. Many mistake this as fear, but for those who pause, it is unmistakable peace disguised in mystery. That presence is the reassurance of heaven, the silent witness that refuses to leave you abandoned. It lingers to remind you that the distance you feel in the day dissolves in the night. It is an invitation to trust, to open, and to realize that your prayers have never floated unanswered into the void. They have always been caught, carried, and answered in ways you cannot yet see. And then there are the thoughts that appear suddenly, unplanned, as if whispered directly into your heart. They come like flashes of memory, insights that do not belong to your usual reasoning, or urges to act on something you would normally ignore. These thoughts are not random. They are sparks of guidance, instructions placed delicately on your path. The more you trust them, the stronger they become, forming a rhythm you can follow like footsteps in the dark. The night is alive with divine conversation. And if you stay awake in spirit, if you dare to pay attention, you will begin to see that nothing you feel or dream or sense at night is meaningless. Each is a thread woven into the tapestry of your destiny, pulling you closer to the truth you were born to live. Chosen one, have you noticed that in the quiet hours of the night, your inner world often feels louder than ever? Thoughts echo more deeply, emotions rise more intensely, and even the smallest whisper inside you feels amplified. This is no coincidence. When the distractions of daylight fade, what remains is the pure frequency of your spirit. That is when the messages waiting for you begin to surface. The uneasiness, the sudden flood of memories, or even the strange calm that settles over you, they are not meaningless. They are hints that you are being addressed by something greater than yourself, by the divine hand that has always guided you, even when you did not recognize it. In these moments, you might find yourself stirred awake without explanation. The clock reads hours that seem inconvenient, times when you would rather rest than reflect. Yet you are awake, restless, alert. Why? Because there is an assignment waiting for you. In the hidden chambers of the night, the veil thins, and the eternal voice seeks to meet you without competition. The silence of midnight is not empty. It is pregnant with the words and directions you need. You may feel it as an unshakable thought, a burden on your heart, or a fire in your chest urging you to rise. Do not dismiss it. Each nudge is an invitation to listen. There is something about the darkness that strips away illusions. In the night, masks fall. You are no longer the version of yourself you wear for others, the worker, the friend, the family member, the one carrying the weight of expectations. At night, you are bare before the truth of your own soul. This is why revelations come stronger then, because you cannot hide behind the noise. The stillness exposes what the daylight conceals, and in that exposure, God's whispers find you. They may come in the form of clarity about your future, conviction about a decision, or even comfort that your weary heart desperately needs. Night is not an enemy. It is a secret ally, holding messages that wait for the chosen to uncover. Pay attention also to the patterns. If you repeatedly feel drawn to reflect, to pray, or to simply be still at the same hours of the night, take note. That consistency is not accidental. There is rhythm in how the divine speaks, and by honoring that rhythm, you begin to align yourself with the flow of unseen wisdom. Write down the times you wake, the emotions you feel, the dreams that remain vivid. Soon you will notice connections between them, a thread that links one night to the next, building a tapestry of meaning designed specifically for you. The more you honor the signs, the louder and clearer they become. Dreams play a role that should never be underestimated. There are nights when your dreams are not ordinary but filled with intensity, carrying emotions that feel more real than your waking hours. These are not accidents. They are encoded revelations, truths wrapped in symbols to bypass your waking defenses. If you learn to listen, to sit with them rather than dismiss them, they begin to unveil direction. The faces you see, the places you walk through, the emotions you feel, all are fragments of a divine message, stitched together to prepare you for the days ahead. Sometimes, though, the message is not in dreams or visions, but in the still weight of presence. That sensation of warmth, the sudden wave of peace, or the feeling that you are not alone. These are more than emotions. They are signals that you are being accompanied, that heaven has not left you adrift. On those nights, instead of fearing the unknown, lean into it. Ask, "What do you want me to know?" In that simple openness, the quiet presence often becomes an answer itself. The truth is, night is not only the absence of light, it is the stage where unseen forces are most active. What you perceive as silence is a sacred dialogue waiting for recognition. And once you begin to treat those moments as divine, you will never see your nights the same again. You will welcome them, not with dread, but with expectation, knowing that within them are hidden words meant to guide you, heal you, and prepare you for what is coming. Chosen one, there is a sacred mystery that unfolds when you allow yourself to be still in the night, when you choose not to fight the restlessness, but to embrace it as a summons. The night becomes a teacher, a place where your soul is sharpened and where unseen truths are poured into you. Many fear the silence, but in reality, the silence holds the very keys you've been searching for. When you strip away the noise of the day, you are left with nothing but yourself and the eternal voice that speaks into that quiet. It is in these moments that clarity begins to crystallize, showing you not only who you are, but what path lies ahead. Think of how often you have carried heavy questions during the day. Questions about your purpose, your struggles, your future. They linger, unanswered, as you move through tasks and conversations. Yet at night, when your body is still and your heart is bare, answers begin to stir. A sudden thought, a realization you never considered, or even a deep calm that reassures you despite your uncertainty. All of these are ways the divine communicates. The night is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to realign you. Each whisper that reaches you in the darkness is a thread, pulling you closer to the design of your destiny. And perhaps you've noticed how some nights weigh heavier than others. You lie awake, not because of stress or noise, but because something unseen insists that you remain alert. Your chest feels stirred, your mind refuses to quiet, and your spirit is alert, though your body craves rest. These are not coincidences. They are wake-up calls, moments when the veil between worlds thins and you are drawn into a deeper awareness. At such times, even the air feels different. You sense that you are not alone, that there is purpose breathing in the stillness around you. And it is in those moments that you must dare to ask, what is being shown to me right now? Dreams in these hours often carry significance beyond imagination. They may frighten you, comfort you, or leave you with questions that linger for days. Yet within them lies direction, coded in symbols that reach beyond language. Pay attention to the recurring images, the repeated scenarios, the emotions that overwhelm you even after waking. These are not trivial. They are markers, designed to draw your attention to truths that need recognition. Writing them down becomes not just a habit but a discipline, your way of capturing divine dialogue so it is not lost in the rush of daylight. There is also the undeniable weight of presence that settles into a room during these hours. At first, it may feel strange, as though someone else has stepped into your space without being seen. Yet over time, you begin to realize that this presence does not come to harm, but to comfort. It is the assurance that you are seen, that you are accompanied, even when you feel most alone. That weight, that subtle shift in the atmosphere, is proof that heaven itself bends near to remind you of its closeness. The night does not isolate you. It embraces you with unseen arms. And then there are the subtle instructions, thoughts that appear with precision, urging you toward decisions you would not normally consider. They may nudge you to release what no longer serves you, to reach out to someone in need, or to step boldly into opportunities that seemed intimidating by daylight. These impressions are not accidents. They are steps laid out before you, a path illuminated not by sight, but by trust. Following them requires faith, but in hindsight, you realize they were the very directions you needed to move forward. The night, then, is not merely time to rest, but time to awaken. Awaken to guidance, to truth, to the realization that you are being spoken to more often than you realize. Each hour, each stirring, each whisper is an invitation to a dialogue greater than your doubts. And once you accept that invitation, you discover that the silence of night is not silence at all. It is the loudest conversation your soul will ever hear. Chosen one, the deeper into the night you go, the more the hidden layers of your heart begin to surface. When everything outside has gone quiet, the inside becomes louder, and truths you've ignored during the day demand to be faced. This is no accident. It is a divine strategy, using the stillness of the night to bring forward the very things you must address, heal, or embrace. The night becomes a mirror, showing you what you've buried and what you must acknowledge. Though this process can feel heavy, it is never meant to harm you. It is meant to free you. So often you wake with burdens pressing against your chest, unresolved thoughts, regrets, or emotions that you thought you had buried. These do not rise at night to torment you, but to release you. They come when distractions are gone so that you can finally see them for what they are. And in that confrontation, God speaks. He uses those thoughts to guide you toward forgiveness, toward release, toward courage. The heaviness is not a punishment, but a call. It is the way heaven shines light on what you must let go of in order to step fully into what awaits you. Have you ever noticed how time feels different in the night? Minutes stretch, silence deepens, and the smallest sounds echo with unusual force. This distortion of time is not meaningless. It slows you down so you cannot rush past what is being shown to you. It creates a space where you can sit with your thoughts, where your heart can wrestle with what it usually avoids. In that slowness, revelations emerge. The words you needed to hear, the peace you longed for, the direction you begged for. They all flow easier when you are finally still enough to receive them. There are also nights when you feel drawn to actions you don't fully understand. Perhaps you feel the sudden urge to pray, to write, or to simply sit in silence without knowing why. These urges are not random. They are nudges, moments when the divine is guiding your spirit into alignment. The act itself may seem small, but the ripple it creates is far greater than you realize. Choosing to act on these impressions opens doors of understanding, and slowly you begin to see that the night is not only a time for rest, but a workshop for destiny. The night also reveals truths about your resilience. When darkness surrounds you, both literally and metaphorically, you learn the strength of your spirit. This is when you find that you are capable of more than you believed, that peace can exist even when everything around you feels uncertain. It is in these hours that God trains your heart to remain steady, to trust, and to see beyond the immediate. The very struggles that keep you awake are the same struggles that shape your character, chiseling away at your fear until only faith remains. And sometimes, the messages of the night arrive not through dreams or restlessness, but through extraordinary peace. You wake at strange hours, but feel calm instead of anxious, as though a quiet assurance has wrapped itself around you. This peace is its own message. It whispers, "You are not forgotten. You are exactly where you are meant to be." In such moments, the night is no longer frightening. It is comforting. You realize that even in darkness, you are held, seen, and protected. The truth is that the night is a sacred appointment. Each whisper, each dream, each stirring is purposeful. It is heaven's way of aligning you, shaping you, and preparing you for the days ahead. When you recognize this, you no longer resist the restlessness or dismiss the dreams. You begin to treasure them, to lean into them, to expect them, because you understand now that the night is alive, and it was always meant to be a conversation between your soul and the one who called you. Chosen one, when the shadows stretch long and the quiet covers everything, that is when your soul becomes most sensitive to whispers from beyond. You may not realize it at first, but every stirring, every sudden thought, and every shift in your spirit during the night has meaning. The silence does not come to leave you empty. It comes to awaken you. It is in those sacred hours that answers are often delivered, not through loud declarations, but through subtle impressions that linger long after the night is gone. Many dismiss the pull of the night, trying to force sleep, telling themselves it is nothing more than restlessness. But what if the very reason you are awake is because heaven itself is trying to deposit something inside of you? The questions that rise at night, the emotions that stir, even the tears that come without warning, they are not random. They are divine instruments, shaping your awareness, pressing you to acknowledge what you have been ignoring in the daylight. It is in the stillness that your heart becomes teachable, and God's words can finally sink deep. Think back to the times you were woken suddenly, your chest heavy and your mind racing. You looked at the clock and wondered why you were awake at such an odd hour. Yet something inside you knew it was not ordinary. It felt intentional. And in that awareness, you faced a choice. Return to sleep and ignore the moment, or lean into it and listen. Each time you lean in, you step closer to revelation. Each time you choose awareness, you prove your readiness for deeper truths. The night calls not because it wants to rob you of rest, but because it wants to gift you with clarity. Dreams also intensify during these hours, painting images that bypass logic but strike directly at your soul. They often hold emotions too strong to ignore: fear, joy, sorrow, relief. These emotions are the markers of meaning. They are what set apart ordinary dreams from divine ones. When a dream grips you, refuses to leave your memory, or repeats itself across nights, pay attention. That is heaven underlining its message. Write it down, reflect, and ask for insight. Often, the meaning unfolds not immediately but over time, showing you connections you could not have seen otherwise. There are also moments when the atmosphere itself feels charged. The air thickens, a strange awareness fills the room, and your skin reacts as if unseen eyes are upon you. This sensation is not to be feared, it is to be understood. Presence itself is communication. It tells you that you are not walking through your nights alone. The heaviness you feel is not a burden, but a confirmation, a reminder that spiritual realities are closer than they appear. Instead of resisting it, embrace it. Let that presence settle you, remind you that protection surrounds you even in the loneliest hours. And what about those sudden bursts of clarity? You lie awake, and out of nowhere, a solution comes to a problem you've been wrestling with for weeks. A direction forms in your heart with such certainty that you cannot deny it. These are not coincidences. They are instructions delivered quietly but with power. They show you that the night is not wasted time but sacred ground where strategies are whispered into your life. If you treat them with reverence, they become guiding stars for your next steps. The night, then, is not just a backdrop for dreams or rest. It is a stage for revelation, a sacred chamber where you are invited to lean into mysteries larger than yourself. Every awakening, every impression, every dream is evidence that you are being addressed. You are not overlooked. You are being prepared, guided, and strengthened for what lies ahead. And the more you open yourself to these nighttime encounters, the more you will see that darkness is not the absence of light. It is the canvas upon which divine messages are painted. Chosen one, as this journey of reflection draws to its close, remember that the night was never meant to be a place of fear, but a sanctuary for your soul. Each stirring you felt, each dream that pressed itself into your heart, each sudden wave of peace that wrapped around you, these were all threads woven into the fabric of your destiny. The night has been speaking, not to confuse you, but to confirm you. Every hour you've awakened, every whisper you've heard, every moment you've sensed a presence near you has been part of a larger dialogue that reminds you, you are seen, you are heard, and you are guided. It is easy to dismiss the darkness, to treat the late hours as empty or meaningless. But now you know better. You know that within the silence lies instruction, that within the restlessness lies revelation. Even the tears you've cried at night have not been wasted. They were collected, noticed, and answered in ways you may not yet see. This is why you must not run from the silence anymore. Lean into it. Embrace it.